All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who is set to headline one of the two upcoming BKFC Dubai events, and this individual will be headlining on April the 5th and defending his featherweight championship against Tommy Strydom. Great to have Kai Stewart on Bare Knuckle Bowker. How's it going, man?
It's going good, my guy. It's been a while, but glad to be back. And yeah, uh, yeah, this Dubai event, crazy, crazy call. Cause I was like, they're gonna probably gonna maybe fight outside of the outside of the state, maybe somewhere cool, maybe New York, Florida, Texas. No, we're going to Dubai. That was pretty cool. Being a small town Montana kid, that's a big place. That's a big travel.
Yeah, you seem excited about it. Just a lot of cool facets to this one, embarking on the fourth title defense and getting to, embark on a pretty historic event. And like I said, a couple of great events there and broadcasting on DAZN and everything. So a lot of cool stuff on the go.
Yeah. Super excited. I'm over the moon about it. I get to take my girlfriend out of country. We get to travel and see the world. And yeah, it's a cool life to live. It's pretty brutal, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I saw you had a bit of a, I mean, belated for me to say it, but happy belated birthday. I saw you had that up there the other day. And I also understand Dakota Rhoads is also thinking about bare knuckle fighting herself, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, she did amateur on the same card as me. It was a very big event, so her and I are polar opposites. She loves to fight and like learn how to fight, and I love the spotlight. She hates the spotlight. So she was the amateur main event on a card that I was headlining. Everybody got there early because they knew that she was fighting, and like it was packed. It was a crazy atmosphere. She ended up with a draw, great performance, but she got knocked in literally the first 10 seconds. Like, and she's like never been knocked in training, never nothing. So she got rocked. Then she won the remainder of the first, but with the knockdown, she lost. And then won the last two rounds decisively. So, the draw was definitely warranted, but she's tough. I would love to see her go pro as a bare knuckle fighter one day. I don't know where she's at. I think she does she wants to wrestle someone. She wants to get a few more MMA fights because she lost her MMA debut due to getting out wrestled. So she's gonna get that one back.
Yeah, it's so cool to see her on her own journey and everything, and obviously
Mhm.
a lot to talk about with this upcoming fight for you. But I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't at least briefly
Mhm.
touch on the last one, that third title defense, and getting
Oh
a
yeah.
pretty comprehensive decision win over an established veteran like Jimmie Rivera. What were your main
Yeah.
takeaways from that one?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a hurt hand after the first round, but it wasn't. It was just bruised, and I kind of knew it probably wasn't broken, but it was tender every time I was trying to punch with it. So it definitely slowed my pace down. But at first, I was pretty frustrated. I didn't think I did what I did, but it was pretty decisive once I rewatched it back, and I was landing big shots, super precise shots. My accuracy percentage was pretty high through 106. I landed 165 strikes. That was my highest ever. So it was a really good performance, and it's just another stepping stone and getting better because at this point, like I don't really care about the belts. The money is gonna come, and I just want to see how good I am. And so that was just another stepping stone of how good can I really be? Because I don't know, but I'm about to know.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool that you kind of, had legacy embedded in the ink there. You got the tattoo with the
Yeah.
BKFC belt and the tallies on it. That's cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get that slash mark after I knocked Tommy Strydom out. I've just been realizing I just went over my punch count. 755 punches I have landed in my career. And I want to, if I can just speed these fights up a little bit, that'll be a little bit more fun. So in my strength and conditioning, one of our biggest uh focuses is becoming so my whole life as a wrestler we're getting limber but just in case we're in stretchy situations and now we're instead of being like elastic we're trying to be a spring so I have because it's not really punching power. You don't like a bench press doesn't help that, but like the speed plus getting stronger is what is going to help us with knockouts. And we've been really working on that in strength and conditioning as well as, just learning how to box because I'm still learning. I still learn from the amateur boxing class because it's still new to me. I'm a wrestler at heart. I'm a wrestler till the day I die, and gonna keep moving forward in my boxing journey. But it's not bare knuckle boxing; it's bare knuckle fighting. So that's why I'm the best.
Yeah, and to that point, and also connecting it to one's desire to learn, I thought it was cool that there was an excerpt from an MMA Junkie interview you did where you had stated Austin Trout specifically cited your fighting style as something to really benefit him in that Luis Palomino fight where he cemented himself as champion. And I did mention it's a 2-day event. Austin Trout main eventing the other night, defending his title against Carlos Trinidad Snake. What are your thoughts on that welterweight title fight?
That's a really fun fight. I think that Trinidad Snake in his last outing didn't really do if I'm thinking correctly, I think he might have got the finish, but I don't think he really did what he was supposed to do, or maybe it went decision. But I think Trout's gonna edge it out. There, it's a great matchup. I think that Trinidad Snake will come forward, but uh, we saw what happens when people come forward on Trout. He's really slick with it. He's smooth with it. I think he's gonna retain his title. But if he did lose, I'm pretty sure if he lost and I won, I would move to pound for pound number one. So I don't wish a loss on anyone though. So I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think Trout's gonna get it done.
It's kind of interesting. Does that distinction hold any kind of importance for you? Like the idea of being ranked like in a formal way as the number one pound for pound, or not so much? Just maybe like that general idea of being seen as like the best fighter in the sport.
I just think it's in my progression of what I need to do to get to where I want to be, both financially in my how many fans I have. I think I just got to keep working. I got to claw and pick my way up. And uh, there's not any real. If I never became pound for pound number one, I wouldn't lose sleep at night. But I do just think it's in my progression. I'm changing the game. A lot of people that, hats off to Dave Mundell. He's a tough motherfucker. He's finishing people and he's proving why he's up. I think I'm third. I think he's either first or second. And then Trout, I think Trout and him are ahead of me. Um, but if you look at the full game of bare knuckle boxing, like he comes at people. Like I'm using the entire game. I'm going to continue to grow. He's old, getting older. He's not old, but he's getting older, and I'm still 24 years old. I have so much growth. So I just think that I'm going to prove why I'm the best bare knuckle fighter walking the planet. But there's a lot of respect to all these legends. Like I think Mundell and I are tied for title defenses, or maybe he's one ahead of me because he fought more recent. I don't know. I don't really keep track, but I know that us us at the top, we're at the top for a reason. We're the best in the business.
I guess I partly thought to ask that because I'd seen a post, I guess a few months ago at this point, where I believe it was the BKFC account asking what would, be next for you. And it seemed like the 155 belt was intriguing to you. You said Franco Tenaglia has the worst cardio as a champion and how you run circles around him by round three. Like, would that be the next step if you get your ideal outcome here in Dubai against Strydom?
Yeah, but there's a lot of unanswered questions at 145. I do think that Dan Chapman is a one hell of a competitor. Um, for Brandon Allen. I think that I make both of them look silly. I think I make everybody at 145 look silly. But I'm gonna do what I need to do to get a big paycheck. And if that is go over and beat the brakes off of Dan Chapman in his home country where he's got a lot of fans, then that's what I need to do. However, I'm getting to that point. I'm getting to that point where 155 is definitely in the cards, and I hope that BKFC understands that. I hope that Teneglia realizes the time as champion is almost done. I do see a scenario where they're holding off to try to get Howard Davis versus I for the 155 belt. In my opinion, I think if HD beats Palomino, he'll get in a title shot against Tenaglia. And I'll fight winner of that. And if HD wins that belt, we all know that King Kai is going to be a two division champ. So there's just a lot of bare knuckle math going on, but I will literally fight anyone. I sign who I have literally not argued one time with BKFC. It's always been okay, where and when do I leave? Oh, it's in Montana. When do I get tickets? So it's like I've never said yes or no to an opponent. I just say okay and do what I need to do.
Yeah, you touched on a few interesting things there. I guess this would, I guess, be kind of a two-parter sort of question for me, just with the Dan Chapman fight that you mentioned coming up against Brandon Allen. I mean, I think kind of reading the tea leaves, it would seem like with that being the feature fight on that run there, that that would be a title eliminator bout potentially and whatnot. And also you mentioned the Palomino Howard Davis fight. Obviously, your familiarity with Davis there. Like, what do you see, I guess, as the outcomes for those two fights? Like, how do you see the Allen fight playing out with Chapman and then Palomino Davis?
The only thing I'm good at predicting is myself beating everybody that comes at me. Okay. I want to put that out there. I think that everybody on that list are very talented fighters. And um, I believe that Dan Chapman's going to get it done against Brandon Allen. I think that Brandon Allen has shown a really good, like, he's had a good run, but his last outing on the Montana card against Timmy Mason was not an impressive number one contender win. So it's like you got to put on some real performances and make yourself look good. If you're going to be boring on social media, like, at least be good in the ring. Like, quit begging for title shots without doing something real. This fight, Dan Chapman, Brandon Allen, very fun, very intriguing. We have B-lister Dan Chapman coming against Brandon Allen. We have on paper, Dan Chapman should win the fight. Brandon Allen's been in this position before. So we'll see. Winner of that fight's gonna be really fun. I think Dan Chapman gets it done, and then I'm he thinks that he'll beat me. He has absolutely zero chance in hell. And I'm gonna go over to his country and do it. So uh Dan Chapman for the win, and then HD versus Palomino. Very intriguing, you know. I, I would say Palomino just because I respect Palomino where he's been, where he's headed. If he beats HD, he's gonna probably be back in title contention. He has a similar fighting style to me. You know, he can drag things out. He can make it fun. HD's a sniper. And I laid a blueprint on how to break HD, but HD's a tough competitor. So something tells me that HD is going to get it done. He's going to go get the 155 title shot, and then I'm going to go take that belt from him. So that's my prediction on that one.
So, I mean, it's kind of interesting because it seems like you're talking about unfinished business being at featherweight, but you're, I guess, looking at that lightweight goal at a certain point. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of interesting. Like, what are you, I
Yeah.
guess, looking to specifically do? Like, what would represent, I guess, clearing out the featherweight division and whatnot to you?
If Brandon Allen got it done, I could see myself fighting Brandon Allen next for sure. He has done enough after Dan Chapman. Dan Chapman will be 2-0 in the BKFC. If he beats Brandon Allen, he just proves to everybody what I've been saying. So it's going to be based on money. If I get more money to go up to 155 and beat the brakes off of Tenaglia or HD, like, give me that money. But I think that an overseas fight in Chapman's hometown, he's a big name over there. I think I get paid to do that. So, in a perfect world, I beat Chapman. That automatically, no matter what, I will go to 155 after that one. If Brandon Allen wins, he's next.
Yeah, it's just such an interesting time in not just your career, but the sport overall. Just, Conor McGregor being such a big fixture. And I imagine just he'd be probably at a card like this big overseas event and encroaching into a new market and stuff like that. Have you had any like direct interactions with McGregor? He seems very passionate about the product. You're obviously a proven champion and one of the big homegrown stars. So, yeah.
So We went out to Sturgis, South Dakota, and we had some interactions there. That was the time of my life. That was fun. Um, and then we've messaged here and there. I haven't talked to him about this fight at all. He's been interactive. Like he's commented, he's liked my stuff. Like he's definitely interactive with it. But I like to act like I've been there. I'm sure that his phone gets blown up by BKFC fighters that he follows all day. So I don't want to be that guy, and I just want to act like I've been there. And he's gonna watch me knock this guy out in Dubai, and we'll have a good interaction there. So
Yeah, and just I don't know. I saw a bit of something with Ryan Garcia a little bit ago. There was some, I
yeah.
guess he was maybe talking about trying out BKFC. Like, what would you, I guess,
Mhm.
think about that potential fight, or just Ryan Garcia discussing bare knuckle in general?
Yeah, that would be really cool. Because it's not boxing, it's fighting, and I think I beat the brakes off of Ryan Garcia. Yeah, and especially how he turns away in boxing. Like there's a lot of things about him that's great for boxing with gloves on, but the second you take the gloves off and the ref doesn't save you, you get put into a position. So I think that would be really fun. That would be amazing for the sport. I don't think he's going to come over, there for a while with all the suspension stuff. Like there was definitely interviews where he said that he would consider it, and he has considered it. But outside of that, I don't really know. I was supposed to go to the weigh-ins for his or press conference for that fight that literally got canceled the next day, but I showed up and they told me I couldn't get in. So um, yeah, like because I was just gonna walk in with some media guys, and like they're like, nope, and they were just like there was a lot of random people going in, so it was like I don't think that there was anything real behind it, but like maybe they just didn't let me in because they saw me talking shit on the internet, because that was like during the time I was talking shit on the internet, so whatever. If he wants to come, he'll come.
The wording there was kind of interesting. Do you feel like you're trying to pull back a bit more from the online trash talk nowadays, I guess?
Wait, rephrase that. Sorry. Wait, re-ask that. My apologies. I blanked out.
Yeah, well, there was just something about how you phrased that, like, oh, that was back when I used to talk more smack online. Like, I'm maybe paraphrasing a bit, but I guess I was just wondering if maybe
Mhm.
you were like trash talking less online now, or if there was a conscious
Well,
effort to do that, or yeah.
I was like whenever he was suspended, and I heard that there was an interview he talked about bare knuckle. I started just going, and then there was just random articles coming out, and I was like, oh boy, like fuck. I started talking shit, and just some random ass articles came out. Who knows how many views they got? Like I don't even care. Just the fact that they were writing articles like King Kai and King Ryan entered fight camp. Like it was like, oh shit, people took my shit talk seriously. So. But no, I'm gonna talk the same amount of shit. That was just I was just saying that I was talking shit that specific time about Ryan Garcia.
I was gonna say, based on how you even, I guess, kind of touched on like the stylistic elements of where you could see yourself really thriving in that fight, I would make the inference that you would maybe see like similar opportunities with Sean O'Malley, because we've talked about it and there's been a lot of headlines with that. Like you're open to
Mhm.
crossover fights, whether it's BKFC or you're even willing to do MMA with him, from what I understand. I would think that you would maybe see a similar stylistic path with him as compared to Garcia, I guess.
I think if anyone of I literally mean anyone. If anybody comes to my sport at my weight, as long as I'm not going up too much weight, I'm gonna beat everybody that comes into my sport. Like I'm making the sport up as I go. I'm BKFC 2.0. I'm not in there just slugging like a lot of these guys do to get the big bucks. Like Eddie Alvarez, they're in there slugging. They're not trying to be BKFC fighters. I'm using every ounce of this rule set to keep myself safe and to keep my face from getting cut. And if that's, that's maybe why I've done 5 round fights. I'm going for knockouts, but I you don't want to get hit with bare knuckles. I'm not like, why do I got to take a risk like that? I'm running circles around these guys.
Yeah, just such a great time for you. And I mean,
Mhm.
you're talking about, wanting to end these fights inside the distance. And from what I recall earlier, you were, calling for a knockout in this Strydom fight. And I mean, he's not tasted defeat in BKFC so far.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is like a big level up test for him. But I'm just curious to the point of the stoppage. Like, do you foresee a certain round where that might take place? Like maybe even in the championship rounds, use your pace to break him, that sort of thing? Or do you have a clear idea of the round that could transpire?
I mean, his this is MMA math again. Like I train as hard as I possibly can and as smart as I possibly can to be to continue to be champion and beat whoever they put in front of me. So I'm not putting a lot of thought into Tommy, just like I didn't really put a lot of thought into anybody else. I put a lot of thought into getting better every single day. With that being said, Tommy Strydom's last outing, he's looked real good in some of his fights, but that last outing against who he was fighting, like he was gassed, bro. He was gassed, and I just I'm all gas, no brakes, and I would love to put him out early. Save my hands, save any opportunity for him to get any cuts. But I'm going to be really smart in doing it. But I'm going to crack him. I'm going to crack him early. So if he lasts 5 rounds after getting cracked, then hats off to Tommy. But I can literally run circles around these guys. So I'm just going to do whatever I got to do to win, and I really do hope to get a finish, first or second round. Get him out of there early. Just save damage on both sides.
And I read an article. I was curious to get your insights on this as one of the last kind of things I wanted to touch on here because you were talking about how losing your final high school wrestling match really put a chip on your shoulder to achieve something great in life and seemed like a
Mhm.
heartbreaking final as a senior in 2019. If you could time travel and talk to Kai Stewart, who was experiencing that on that night, like what would you tell to him and what do you think the younger Kai Stewart would think of what you're getting up to nowadays?
Wow, that gave me goosebumps. I was just thinking about that the other day. Just you know, I put every ounce of everything I had into wrestling, and I did get the. I am so grateful. I still got to be a state champion my junior year. I got didn't place my freshman year, second, first, second. So I was in good company with being a, a very well known wrestler in the state of Montana. Um, but I would just tell myself, everything happens for a reason. Just, keep working hard and whatever you want to do. Cause at that point, I still wanted to be a doctor. Like I did, there was absolutely nothing about me that wanted to fight on the day of my um state title loss. Like I didn't think about it. Like literally 2 weeks after I got a 2 week notice fight. So there was 4 weeks from the state tournament till the time I did my debut fight. And yeah, the rest is history. And I didn't look back. And, even through my MMA career, I wanted to be a doctor, but I put every ounce of everything that I had into everything that I did. That's why, like, sometimes I get obsessive over some things that I'm doing, but like this camp, I've been so meticulous about my technique, because we know my cardio's there. But just work hard in everything you can do. That's all you got to do.
I love that insight, man, and that could even serve as a great parting thought in and of itself. But I also figured I'd
Mm.
give you the floor in case there was anything you wanted to mention as we're kind of wrapping up here, Kai. I really do appreciate your time today.
Yeah, guys, just tune in for Dubai, April 5th. I'm gonna retain the title. Bet the line. I would definitely probably bet the under if I was a betting man. But I can't bet on myself. So go for it. Bet the line. Follow me on King Kai _145 on Instagram.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Bare Knuckle Bowker. It's always good getting your insights, Kai, and really excited for April 5th to see this fight transpire and a stacked card overall. Another featherweight title fight in the co-main event as well. So a big night for the 145-pound ranks. But yeah, super stoked for this Tommy Strydom fight and everything. And thanks so much for the time again to reiterate. You have a good rest of the training camp, Kai, and looking forward to peeping this fight when it goes down. You have a good rest of your day too, man.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank you for having me on. Maybe we can get a follow up. Let's go knock this guy out first.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have to do more follow up chats, man. But yeah, thanks so much for the time today. And yeah, all the best.
Hell yeah. Take care.